Hi, I'm John Storms, and today we are prepping our GE Gilbert Engineering XLS 450 flake. This is a 450 pixel snowflake, and it looks awesome. This is replacing other snowflakes on my house, which currently are 222 pixels. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this kind of density gets me. Okay, so I bought this from Gilbert Engineering. It has shown up, and I got the white version. One of the things that I noticed is that there's no wiring diagram on the back. So what do you do? Well, you gotta do your own. So it turns into an art project. You flip it over on its back, and with a Sharpie, you go around and draw the wiring diagram yourself. So we'll show you how we do that. So that's going to be the first thing I do. And then the second thing is I'm going to take these mounts that I purchased from Inspire Lightshows. He does 3D printing. I don't. I don't have time for another hobby. I could go out and get myself a 3D printer, but it looks like quite a bit of work. Now these aren't cheap, but it's still cheaper than a printer. So I got this mount. This is the Mega Mount. There's a couple of different options, but this one I like over engineering, and this one definitely looks seemed to fit the bill. And the idea is you attach the mounts to the snowflake, gives the snowflake extra strength, kind of an exoskeleton that you can use to mount it. So we'll do that after we do the wiring diagram. So let me switch over to X-Lights here. So this is X-Lights, and what I'm going to do, I am currently sitting on the layout tab, and I want to download a new prop. So all of Gilbert Engineering's props are online. So I don't have to download it and import it. Well, I kind of do, but there's all done through this button. So it says create new download. So I click on this, then I go into the layout tab and I just drag out a square. Okay. Pops up a little dialog box and it says, what prop do you want to download? So it's not Boscoyo, it is Gilbert. It's not an arch, a bulb, or a candle. It is a flake. It said 46-inch flake, but I just see flake wreath. I look under 47, and aha, here it is. XLS 450, 47, and 37-inch flake. So I click on that one, look at the picture. Yep, that's what I want. 450 pixels. Yep, that looks like the one. So I say insert model. I'm going to delete this just because I'm grabbing it for the wiring diagram. This isn't for real, so I'm going to skip downloading the submodels. And boom, there's my flake, and it looks right. So here it is. They have it listed as GE XLS 450. I go down here to model data. I click on the three dots, and this pulls up the custom model dialog. And here I click on the wiring view, and this gives the image of the wiring views. So this is the reverse view, meaning this is how you would be looking at the snowflake when you're pushing in the pixels from the back. And so the first pixel's here, and then it wraps around and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this nice and big, and then I'm going to print it out on my printer, and then I'm going to use this to mark up the back of my snowflake with a Sharpie to identify where all the pixels go. Okay, so now what we're going to do first is we are going with the GE XLS 450 flake came with a pair of these coro back plates. So we're just going to mount these back plates to the snowflake with zip ties. And this is to give the snowflake a little bit of support. And it came with the snowflake. All right, so now that that is done, and that's easy, everything is pre-drilled with holes. Now we're actually going in and we are taking the wiring diagram and drawing it onto the back of the snowflake. You see I actually got a hard copy of the wiring diagram, so I have something to follow. It starts off pretty easy. We go around the perimeter of the snowflake. I tend to make this a little bit overkill, drawing lines between each of the holes and numbering them all. The reason I like to number them is because I like knowing where every 50th hole is. If you notice, every 50th hole I will circle, right? And that way, when I am done with a string of lights, I should end at one of those holes. So I have an extra circle at 50, then 100, 150, and so on, all the way up to 450. And the reason that's important is you don't want to get to the very end of pushing the pixels and then realize that you've been doing it wrong the whole time and you have to undo the whole thing. And possibly doing that multiple times with a snowflake with 450 pixels, that would be easy to do. So that circled hole every 50 pixels is kind of a checkpoint. That's where each string should end. And if I'm off, then I shouldn't be off more than 50 pixels, which is still a pain, but not devastatingly bad. So, and plus, I want it to look nice because, it's something I do this for a hobby. So, I take my time. And this one was tedious to do. And I'm thinking about possibly doing two more of them. So I'm not looking forward to the to the labeling part. So keep that in mind when you're purchasing core products. It is a big bonus to have the wiring diagram already printed on the back. So next, what we do is we go in, attach all of the 3D printed mounts that I purchased from Inspire Lightshows. So these do require some drilling through the coro, but coro is super easy to drill through. And then it's just a matter of zip tying the 3D mounted pieces to the coro itself. And of course, will be used to run EMT through it. That way, we have a nice exoskeleton so that we can move the snowflake around and mount it to the house securely.